For now, we're going to talk about finding the whole group when a fraction is known. And so whenever we're doing fraction problems, sometimes it's easier to draw a picture to help us understand the problem. So let's say, let's go ahead and start with an example. Let's say 3/5 of the fish in the lake are blue tangs. So if there are 54 blue tangs in the lake, how many fish are there in the lake? So 3/5 of the fish are blue tangs, right? And if there are 54 blue tangs, how many fish in the lake? Right? So let's draw a picture. Right, there's gonna be 5 parts. You can also do this as a pie chart. Since we know it's fifths. And 3/5 are blue tangs. Oops. Right? This is our 3/5, and we know that these are 54, right? So we want to divide that 54 into 3 parts because we know there's 3 here. So if we divide 54 by 3, that will give us 18. So that means there's 18 fish in each group. So, these fish here, these 2/5, they're not blue tangs, they're other kinds of fish. So what we can do to get how many fish, we can add 18 twice to the 54, or we can do 18 times 5, right? Which is 90. So there are 90 fish. Or we can add 18 all 5 times. Or we know what 18 and 18 is 36. So if we say we already know there are 54 here, the other fish are 36, we can also add those 2 numbers to get our 90. Or you can do the 54 and 18, right? And then add the last 18. Oops. So all of these give us there are 90 fish in the whole lake. But we got this from knowing how many there were in the 3/5 part, right? So we knew how many in this part. But like I said, you could have drawn a pie chart if that would have been more helpful. So now let's do another example. Let's say when Grayson read page 42, he was 3/8 of the way through the book, 3/8 of the way through his book. So, how many pages are in the book? Okay. So, 3/8, right? So now let's do should be 8, right? There's 3/8. Oops. 3/8. And then this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8. So we know that this group here, these 3, equals 42 pages, right? 42. So now we want to divide the 42 by 3 so that we can know how many per section. 42 divided by 3 should be 17. So 17 in each group, and that goes all the way down because they're all equal. So now we can do 17 times 5 to give us how many in the bottom group, right? So we can add 42 and 85 to give us how many total? Might be doing my math off. Let me check my numbers really quick. I said 17. Yeah, that's already wrong. Okay, let me fix this. It's not 17. Oops. It's 14. Yeah. Okay, so 42 divided by 3 is 14. So we have 14, 28, and 42. Okay, so, oops. I'm gonna erase all the 7s going down. So actually, these are all 14. Oops. Here. So 14, so now we can do 14 times 5 to get the bottom group. We know that's 20, 70. So 70 and 42 should be 112. So there are 112 pages in Grayson's book. And so we use this, what they gave us, the fraction, and how far he was through to figure out how many in the whole book. So we can find the whole just by knowing the fraction. Okay, so we're gonna do one more example. Let's do, as Grayson went from room to room, he found that 3/5 of the lights were on, and that 20 So how many lights were on? We're not finding the whole, but we can, which I will. Were on. Okay, so we are gonna do this into 5. Oops. Okay, so 3/5 of the lights were on, right? So, okay, sorry about that. 3/5 of the lights were on. 2, so that means 2/5, 3/5 were on, 2/5 were off. But we know the number, that it's 20, so we know 20 lights were off. So we can divide that 20 by 2 to get 10 for each section. So we can say, if they asked how many lights total in this building, there would be 50 lights, right? So you can do this 2 ways. You can do 50 minus your 20 to get 30 were on. These are on, off, or, so we did the 20 divided by 2 for 10, or we can do 10 times 3, or add 10 3 times to get that 30 were on. So you can use the whole if you want to, or you can just use the fractions, but that's the gist of this lesson. Let me know if you have any questions.